what can HR leaders do to help prepare their organizations for the future where we're likely to see an increase, we've already seen it in the crisis, but a permanent increase in remote and hybrid working?
I think there's a few key things in addition to some of the other things I've described, like empowering people faster, making use of the digital tools to help embed that speed. But one thing I would say is for HR and this new way of working that we can do is really think about simplicity differently and being more intentional around removing the complexity in so many of our HR processes that can sometimes make the business of people and the business of HR just hard or harder for our customers, whether that's internal or external. A much more intentional way of focusing on the simplicity. And the other is just that carrier of culture, and that's everyone's responsibility across the company, of course, not just HR, but I do think that the matching of people and culture to the business puts HR in a certain differentiated responsibility to the culture that we want to be. And I think all things being equal across all of our organizations, no matter what industry we're in, that differentiator for the winning ones will be that of culture. The final piece is, striving to be and helping the business to be a digital industry first. So no matter what our core industry is, we all need to figure out how to be better at getting this digital piece, both in our reach in the market to customers, but also in how we engage within our own organizations.
And I guess with the kind of the working environments we've got, obviously you'll have certain employees where they kind of have to be on site because of the nature of the work they do. You'll have other members of your workforce where maybe it's more hybrid and some of the tasks that they can do just as well as at home versus being in the office when maybe people need to be together for the more innovative and creative stuff. And there's so many things to balance. There's employee preference, and employee preference will change even by those in the same team. We're thinking beyond the crisis now, and then there's other factors to consider, as I said, around the types of work that can be done maybe more productively on an individual basis remotely versus the types of work that probably need to be done together. And it's a maze which hopefully HR will help their organizations navigate their way through. I mean, is that something that you're starting to look at there, or thinking about having to look at some point?
Yes, we've actually already started, although we're still, as you've noted, David, in the throes of this and things are evolving. But we started, and we made a declaration that, we will not go back to the old ways of working and what was that traditional way. And it will be a hybrid. And we have great employees that are in certain locations that certainly have to be and need to be and very valued. And we've declared that flexibility is not just about those that are in roles where you can work remote or work from anywhere, but flexibility is and should be accessible for everyone. But that takes the listening to understand what does that mean in the context of what work is being done. So that's another declaration. And so the work we've started to really organize formally, what you've described, is a team that came together under a sprint exercise that we call Next Normal. And that work is continuing because we're all still learning, but we're looking at sub-chapters, if you will, of that body of work that's looking at everything from well-being and wellness and how does that need to evolve in this way of working, to cross-border, as we've talked about, not just bringing a balance of work to talent, not just talent to work always, on through sustainability and what does that mean for transportation or internal meetings. So, and technology that will support all these varied ways of working. So the preference piece comes with what we call flexibility. And that means let's really listen differently and learn from what does that mean based on what the work is needed to get done.
And as you quite rightly highlighted, the culture is so important to that, because culture, I guess, is almost going to evolve. You know, you're part of the next normal, that focus on well-being, really important. But yeah, and I love the way that, you know, flexibility is for everyone, not just for those that can work remotely. It's really good.
In this series, we will be speaking to a range of senior leaders who are pushing a data-driven and digital HR agenda. Make sure that you subscribe via your podcast app of choice and also via our YouTube channel for free and regular interviews with the digital HR leaders of the future.